This is Nick Kristoff with the Kristoff team, and wanted to continue the conversation with you about the loan process and what it looks like start to finish. So if you haven't seen the previous two videos, you can check those out. One about getting pre-qualified or pre-approved and what goes on during that stage and during that process. And then one that talks about really from the beginning of that application process right up through as you're working with getting all the documentation collected, basically. So that leaves off usually right around where a processor is getting involved. So this video is going to talk a little bit about what do processing and underwriting do when people or loan officers talk about being in that stage, what's happening. So really the processor is usually doing a lot of the confirmation of the collection of the documents, so making sure that stuff's there, as well as some of the things that need to happen behind the scenes. So often they may be reaching out to the IRS, confirming for quality control stuff that the tax returns provided match what's on file with the IRS. They may be doing some identity theft confirmation stuff with Social Security Administration. They may be confirming with someone's employer, bonus, commission income, something that may be variable over time, things like that. They confirm breakdowns of those numbers that may not be obvious on a pay stub or W-2s or things like that. So a lot of times there's a lot of behind the scene things happening that the processor is doing. And that processor is going to work with the underwriter. And the underwriter is the key individual basically in the process that confirms that all of the information provided matches the actual loan program guidelines for whatever loan program you've applied for. So whether that's a jumbo loan, Fannie Mae loan, construction loan, FHA, VA, something, that all of the information that's needed for that particular guideline, that set of guidelines, is met. And so they're going through it, they're reviewing it, they're noting everything that's there and clearing it, or maybe making a note of saying, hey, some of these things are missing and here's what's needed to get it kind of finished up for the final approval. At the end of their review, and a lot of times if you've got a good loan officer and a good processor, the underwriting review is more of a formality. A good loan officer and a processor are going to know going into this that we've got a clear strategy and the information you provide is going to meet guidelines. But the underwriter is actually the individual that formally can issue that approval. So at that point, you've got a loan commitment. And a lot of times, particularly on a purchase, if you have something in your contract that says you need to provide a loan commitment within so many days, that's what they're talking about. That official review from underwriting that says, yes, you're approved. Here are some remaining conditions that may need to be met, but your overall situation does meet these guidelines. So a lot of times then the things that will come out of that review and what's left are maybe there's some missing pages, maybe there's some information that needs to be clarified or confirmed. Sometimes, particularly on a purchase, homeowner's insurance isn't yet collected because it's something that you're investigating through the process, what your new policy will be. So there'll be kind of those cleanup things that are required to be obtained before the final approval, and that final what's called clear to close. So a lot of times those are collected, the processor may do that and provide it back to underwriting, and when underwriting has every single box checked basically, that's when the loan reaches a final approval, and the magic words in the loan origination world are clear to close. And so at that point, basically, that file can be moved into closing, and that's where the home stretch really kicks in, because all of that stuff regarding getting it geared up for your settlement agent or your closing attorney for you to actually take ownership to get closed on that property, that's all about to happen. So that's what's coming up in the next video.